be watching two manatees released at Blue Spring State Park, and this is the truck they transport them in. Amelia and Irma were orphaned in 2017 as babies, and then they were rescued and first taken to SeaWorld. Then the year prior to them being released, they were at the Jacksonville Zoo Gardens, where they were cared for in the Manatee Critical Care Center. So this is Amelia and Irma coming out of the truck. There were actually 5 manatee releases in February of 2021 at Blue Spring State Park in Orange City. These are the 2 juvenile females, and then there were 3 males that were released. Now that they're all older and bigger and stronger, they're all off on a new adventure. Now you can see Irma on the right. They're getting her belt ready for her tracker. And in the meantime, they're doing all the vitals on Amelia so they can record everything before they're released. Both the manatees will have a satellite tracking device, and it has 3 parts. It has a belt, a tether, and then a floating monitor, and this is equipped with GPS. This is used so that they can track the manatees and make sure they're adapting well. The manatees also have a pit tag, which is like a microchip for a cat or dog, and that allows them to scan them. In addition to those 2 things, you can see that they have a freeze burn on them, which they all have an individual letter and number, so that way visually when the manatees are out in the wild, they can visually identify them and see how they're doing. Now you might have noticed there's a lot of different shirts with a lot of different names here, and that's because in order to make this happen, there's a lot of different people that have to come together. The rescue, rehab, release, and post-release monitoring is all thanks to the Manatee Rescue and Rehabilitation Partnership. And that includes a lot of different groups. The Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission, SeaWorld, Jacksonville Zoo Gardens, Orlando Clearwater Marine Aquarium Research Institute, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, Save the Manatee Clubs, and this release, the County of Volusia, and of course all of the volunteers and rangers that work with these different organizations to make this possible. Now they're going to be carrying the manatees down on basically a stretcher. You can kind of see this is not the best setup for carrying a 1,000-pound or more animal to get it to the spring. Currently, the Friends of Blue Spring State Park in Orange City, Florida are working on fundraising efforts to change this and actually build a manatee staging area so the truck could get closer. There'll be a ramp. It'll be a lot safer for volunteers and for the manatees to get from the truck into the spring.
Got it. You gotta test the belt. Get her straight towards me. Alright, hold on. Yeah, let's move her. Let's move over there. Okay. Look at Monica's getting soft. 1, 2, 3.
So this is Amelia they've brought down first. They're going to bring Irma down next because they want to try to release them as close together as possible, where they have both been together since they were babies.
03 or C3?
That is a 03.
That's what I thought, looking at the other end.
So here you can see the belt on Amelia. They're attaching the tether and then the tracking device. And a lot of people think, oh, that's really heavy for a manatee, but it really isn't. It's the equivalent of them having what to you and I would be a cell phone. And these transmitters are on a 50-pound test line. So if the rope or the transmitter gets caught up in anything, all the manatee has to do is put 50 pounds of pressure on it and it will break away.
Look at you gonna go ahead.
Alright, so this is Amelia. 03 aka C3.
Righty-tighty.
Yeah, you try and figure out what's righty-tighty on this.
Oh, really?
It's really lefty-tighty.
Is it?
Because it's looking down, not at. It's
Looking from the backside to the front.
sure? Yeah. Double check the triple check the double check.
Okay, so here they come now with Irma to get her down to the spring. Now, manatees are mammals. Even though they live in the water, they have to breathe air. And they also, even though are a large animal, they don't have a lot of fat. So the area we're releasing them into is called the Spring Run. It's between the Spring Head and the St. Johns River. And the water temperature there is always a constant 72 degrees because manatees have to have a water temperature that's greater than 68 degrees to survive. Otherwise, they can get what they call cold stress, which they would have symptoms that are similar to frostbite and hypothermia and potentially could be life endangering. A lot has changed here at the park over the years with the manatee population. Back in 1970, which was 2 years before the park was even established, researchers were tracking 14 manatees. But thanks to conservation measures, those numbers have drastically gone up. It's not unusual in the winter months for there to be 300 or 400 manatees in the spring run. In the summer, you're not going to see as many manatees because they're out in the river because it's warm enough for them and that's where their food is. But in the winter, when it's cold, they have to come in. They generally come in overnight. So first thing in the morning, it will be full of manatees. And then as they get hungry, they work their way back out to the river to eat. And then they come back in again.
You get pieces, right? Okay. So don't say anything you don't want on video. Gotcha.
So it looks like they have these two just about ready to get in the water and explore their new home. Generally, to get them ready for this, at the rehab center, they will transition them into different tanks because your normal aquarium tank would be very clear. When they're out in the wild, there's different colors in the water depending where they are, if they're in the spring, if they're out in the river. So they transition them into different tanks before they transport them so they can get used to what their new environment's going to look like.
So we're going to go that way a little bit. With the animals, we're just going to go that way just so we're not too close to them. Alright, anyone want to enjoy this? You want to keep dry feet? I guess you can stay up.
We're not like going.
No, we're getting ready.
Oh, we're going out. We're going out, or are we just moving over?
We're going. Can we get anyone else?
We're butt hidden, so.
We're going to move and keep going. Can anyone else jump in?
Okay, Craig, good luck.
We got to get...
I got that. You need help?
Thank you.
If you could help us on this one.
Appreciate it.
Amelia.
You want to help? Only got one pair. Have plenty like that.
Pick Leo.
It's really nice out there too.
Be brave. You want to? Right up here. No, right over here.
No, I have no idea.
Yeah, that one is heavier. And then recruiting you all. Here, right here.
Next to me.
I won this one right here. All right. All right, you guys, we're going to go first. We're going to keep going. Okay. On three, you guys. 1, 2, 3. Watch the tail. Yeah, let it down in front. Little drop on. Just stay with it.
Okay, good.
You can let that go. You got that strap? I got stretching. Now you guys have stretching.
Step on the front.
Come on, what are you guys doing?
Oh, we're not done yet? Oh, no.
All right, coming back. It's very nice to see what we're doing now. Look at it. Hey, let's let's rinse those. Let's rinse them right here.
Yeah, exactly. He's 1 minute middle.
All right, guys, good job.
Talk about giving a show.
The ones that are dry.
I did.
I don't think so.
I think so.
Wonderful.
Did you get that curve?
Yeah.
Oh. I hope you got that. All right, I got it. I think so.
I got it on video.
Oh, I tried, but I wasn't quick enough. I had too much stuff in my mind.
I don't know. I know you got it.
Anthony, you guys grab one side. You just want to keep it clean.
It'll be a cool story. Not many people get to read stories like that.
Now it's bubble. She's eating. Bet she's down there. You think she's down there eating, going down already like that?
Oh, there's not a whole lot to eat in there now, is there? Really?
There's
Looking.
nothing to eat for them in the spring run. They have to go in the river.
It's the same with the bobbers going down. I thought maybe she was looking, but hey, they're happy and they're together.
You see that little yellow thing sticking out? That's the two men.
So right now I'm a little farther up from where they released the manatee. I'm at what they call Observation Deck 2. And if you look across on the other side of the spring run, you can see their trackers. And we'll stay here a minute. And there's a little bit better view of them. They seem to be sticking together for their first day back in the wild in a long time. That's working for me. Let's try to get one good one.
Wow, look at that.
That's huge. Perfect. Oh my God. I've never seen them so close and so long.
No, me
and
neither.
So nice.
I've seen them like this.
Okay.
Hello, my name is Jacob. I'm with the Jacksonville Zoo Gardens, and I am one of the manatee keepers at the rehabilitation center that we have over there. And we've just released Irma and Amelia, 2 females. They both weigh around 1,000 pounds, I just heard. And I've been looking after them for a few months now, and they look like they're doing pretty good.
Well, we hope they're going to like their new home at Blue Springs.
Yep, definitely.
All right, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Here's a photo that was taken at Blue Springs State Park a couple months after Irma and Amelia were released. They both seem to be doing well and sticking together. We hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And thanks for riding with Ruckus.